104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern,
Wow,
Jay
always turns me
Stevens
up.
in the studio.
This
It is
thing.
Thursday and time for Dark Side of the Stream.
Yeah.
Today is my pick. We watched Woodstock 99. I was
Wicked.
sophomore, junior in high school, something like that. Sophomore, junior, I think I was a sophomore. Going into that year, and a lot of these bands that were in the documentary were some of my favorites, not all of them.
Right.
Some
Yeah,
I was very much against, but Woodstock 99 was, they always talk about the decline of rock started when Lennon was shot. I don't agree with that at all. But you know what? I would definitely say the decline of rock may have started in Woodstock 99.
Decline of the hippie movement, maybe.
Oh, well, definitely that.
But yeah, 99 was late 90s. It was a certain, that type of music was, it's got its distinct sound, kind of like the 80s has a distinct sound.
Yeah,
the 90s, late
the
90s has
did,
a distinct sound.
This was definitely the death of the 90s, for sure.
I didn't know how crazy this event ended up being. I think because late 90s, I was kind of out of the loop on this kind of stuff, I was actually I had a hustle going. This 99, I had a hustle.
Shocker. Oh, okay. Tell us about your side hustle. These are some, but find out about Jay's side hustles. That should be
this could be a whole other podcast. In 99, I was living in LA and I had a hustle going where I had a guy bringing in containers of those Razor scooters. Remember the Razor scooters?
Yeah.
This guy would bring in containers of a knockoff brand from China. And I would buy them from him for $50 and I'd sell them for $100 on eBay and stuff like that. And there were some points when I would load my entire Ford Explorer up with these scooters and go and deliver them. I would sell tons of them. This was my summer of 99.
Just sitting at the beach, selling.
Sitting on the beach, ding, 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 and then just box them up and ship them off.
Suburban moms in Missouri.
Later
go see as the front man for
Machine Gun Center. Yeah.
Hey,
I probably sold you a scooter.
I
sold you a scooter back in the day.
Overpriced scooter.
Anyway, it was wacky, right? Wacky.
It was. I definitely remembered it because it was all over. Because obviously MTV was still playing videos at that time, and still a big part of my life in '99. And so I think I remember most of the coverage from Woodstock '99 was definitely on MTV.
See, I didn't watch that stuff. I didn't watch that.
I did because I was in high school, and that's who it was made for. And I followed it because it was like every day you would just see just this complete destruction.
It got worse. The crazy part is it was like bad, worse. It was like a snowball of madness.
Yeah, it was a bad deal. And they definitely get into that, which we're going to get into. Dark Side of the Stream discussing Woodstock 99. .7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio, Dark Side of the Stream, discussing the documentary on HBO Max, which we didn't mention last break. It is Woodstock 99. And, a couple of years ago, they did the Fire Festival documentary, which showed how just that thing became a huge nightmare. But before the Fire Festival, even though this thing wasn't a huge pyramid scheme, it also was a huge nightmare, which started off, it was in Rome and New York in the summer of 1999, and it was extremely hot. That was the first thing they kind of get out. It was
the first clue.
The first clue is gonna be bad, and then also the heat. Don't think of Woodstock and you're thinking of there's lakes and it's wooded,
grass,
and there's fields, and
this one was
find shade.
This one was asphalt.
This was literally on an old airstrip
runways,
and it was like if you've ever been on a hot day, and I'm looking at you road crew guys right now because my dad sold asphalt for years, and I've been out to do road jobs today. He took me to these things all over freaking Southeast Missouri when I was a kid. I have never seen anything as hot in my life. It's so hot outside, the asphalt is popping. It sounds like, when you have a Cocoa Pebbles or whatever, you pour milk on it, it starts to crackle and pop in there, that's what it sounds like. It's so hot. You can see it. It's unbelievable. So
like lava.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's essentially what it is. So these guys are on, that's the first thing. Okay. And everyone had to walk to the stages on these just absolutely just so hot stuff. Now, couple that with the idea that you got vendors out there that are trying to make a living, right? They're selling, and this is in 99. This actually kind of blew me away because I remember the first time I went to a concert, and they were like $40 for a shirt. And I was like, what in the hell are you talking about? That wasn't that long ago. That was 10 years ago, maybe. Okay. So we're well into the 2000s. At Woodstock 99, they were selling burritos for $10. Now, right now,
that's pretty much what a burrito costs.
We pay that now. And
I was at LAX and I paid $20 for a burrito.
And that was this year, right? 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it. They're ripping us off big time. But this was in 99. $10
burrito's
for
supposed to be $3 in 99.
Dude, you were still getting Whoppers for $1.99 all day.
Right.
Hot dogs and sandwiches were $5. A 10-inch pizza was $12. But the big thing that, and I guarantee you this is where it all started, was they were selling bottles of water. They wouldn't, like, if you wanted to go get your water, you had to like go all the way out to the camping grounds, and then you'd have to come all the way back. And everyone was trying to get free water because it was costing $4 a bottle. So what ended up right there, and what I'm trying to say here is, when you think about Woodstock in 69, it was just a festival put on by a bunch of hippies that had no idea what they were doing. And it was like, oh yeah, this guy's showing up. This guy's showing up.
The lineup was whacked.
It just, they got lucky. 99 Woodstock was a bunch of people trying to make money on the idea of what they had done in Woodstock and all that stuff. Yeah. And it is what it is, but the fans did not like that.
And the bands of that era were way more aggressive and aggro and anger and pissed off.
And that's where we're going next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7. .7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern. We're in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream discussing the documentary Woodstock 99 on HBO Max. Now, we've already got into the whole thing of kind of setting the stage. It was hot. Everything cost way too much money. Now, at one point, Kid Rock's playing a show, and he actually demanded that people start throwing plastic water bottles, trying to make a statement of how much it costs. And we like him or love him, Kid Rock, it definitely does cool things. He stirred the pot, but definitely he puts his money where his mouth is. If you've ever seen him, especially recently, they have like that $20 all-inclusive thing where you get like a drink, a shirt, and stuff. And he makes the shows affordable to his fans, which again, I'm not a big Kid Rock guy, but I'll tell you, if your business model, and he's got enough money, he wants to make it enjoyable for everyone. And he's been living that, I guess, since 1999. Jay brought up a good fact. These bands that were, not all of them, because, bands like George Clinton were there.
There were a few, yeah, but
they're not aggressive.
Most of the headliners were
not aggressive. James Brown, not aggressive. But then you got guys like Limp Bizkit.
The big hitters at the time were Limp Bizkit, Korn, Rage,
Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah. College guys pumped up on aggression and testosterone and drunk, and then like the one promoter guys or one of the legal guys said it best. He goes, "You've got all these crazy people getting nuts, mosh pit, and then you've got Fred Durst up there. Give me something to break. Give me." And so
and that's where it all started.
I'm not a Limp Bizkit fan, but that song you listen to, you're like, yeah, I want to break something. You know what I'm saying? Like this is okay. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. And man, when they were tearing the plywood and guys are crowd surfing, standing up on sheets of plywood.
On pieces of plywood. It all started with break stuff, and everyone just went nuts. And they did. They broke stuff. And to a point, Fred Durst egged him on. I mean, he said, "Don't let anyone get hurt." But I don't think you should mellow out. They told
Fred to mellow out and chill him down, and he did not. He went right out there.
He pushed it hard. Then they go into, it is what it is. I do love that later on, Les Claypool, one of my guys, Primus, did say about Fred Durst, Woodstock was just Durst being Durst. His attitude is no press is bad press, so he brings it on himself. He wallows in it. Still, he's a great guy, which, it is what it is. But they definitely incited a riot. I mean, if you look at the very definition of what incitement of riot is, Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit definitely did that.
I just couldn't believe the stuff I was seeing, man.
And the negative thing is that, yes, if you're trying to stick it to the man and all that stuff, that's not what this was. This was people trying to stick it back to the festival organizers that put it on a blacktop, that were charging them $4 per bottle of water, that just did a really crappy job of performing. And then you got these bands on stage that, yeah, you're right on the money. They're angry. They're pissed off. They pushed them to this thing and they responded in kind. Now, unfortunately, there was a ton of sexual assaults that happened that night. A lot of people got messed up that got thrown into it. And yeah, I mean, it was a bad deal. ATMs were tipped over and broken. Merch places were just burglarized.
If you get a chance, watch this documentary, you won't believe your
it's
eyes.
Unbelievable. And it's so crazy.
And then came the candlelight vigil.
Which I'll let Jay tell you all about next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. $104.7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. We're back in the studio one final time on this Thursday to discuss Woodstock 99, which would just become a massive dumpster fire. You know what? If you want to look at the idea of what the meme for a dumpster fire came from, I think it all started in Woodstock 99.
Woodstock 99, right.
That was definitely a dumpster fire. Man, but yeah, they had a lot of badness.
They destroyed the place pretty much. And then all of a sudden there was a group trying to do good, I would assume. They were handing out candles because they were going to have a candlelight vigil on this night. Well, you give all these guys that have been raging, thrashing, destroying stuff candles and lighters now all of a sudden. Instead of break stuff, it was let's light stuff. And you start seeing fires pop up. And this was when it got crazy.
Red Hot Chili Peppers were actually playing when this happened. And it kind of started, I guess they were doing Under the Bridge. People started pulling these up. Well, you do this after, you have a night where everyone literally like destroys the grounds. We lost Jay for a second.
I'm back.
And it was whoever said, let's hand these people lighted sticks. Definitely we didn't think this through, because instead of just holding them up and being peaceful, they lit the entire place on fire.
Bonfires, moshing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then,
porta potties on fire,
and then the Chili Peppers do Sir Psycho Sexy, and then they do Jimi Hendrix's Fire, which just egged it on even more. So they're just massive fires.
Which, by the way, Chili Peppers completely naked on stage. If Flea was completely naked on stage, you can see his whole package and everything.
He does not care.
Defined.
He's like a baby boy running around in his parents' house,
naked out there performing
like
on
the
stage.
day he was born. And at one point, Kiedis actually said, it was actually kind of cool to see that out in there. It was kind of like Apocalypse Now. I don't know how you can say in the same
from
sentence,
his view, maybe
this was cool, but it was like Apocalypse Now. That doesn't really make sense to me. How you can look out and be like, I'm on stage, and luckily I've got some people.
I've got a helicopter.
But I don't really think that. I mean, how good is the security here, guys?
He wouldn't have said that if he had to walk through the crowd to get to his car or something. You know what I'm saying?
You're lucky that it didn't turn into an eat the rich situation where, they're pissed off at the festival promoters and the vendors for charging too much. But then at the end of the day, they're also looking at these guys on stage that are millionaires going, hey, you're making $1 million. Let's get this guy.
Yeah, like Moby might have been the smartest guy of the whole gang. Moby comes in to do an electronic DJ set, and he's like, something is not right.
No,
let's get out of here. As soon as he was done, boom, he bounced out.
And that is another thing I want to talk about real quick, because we're almost out of time. But I really did like the amount of different insights you got from the perspective of the artist and everyone involved from the outside, because you can look at the picture and you can look at
attendees.
Yeah, and attendees
points
too.
Of view from them.
And I just, oh my goodness gracious, snakes alive! It was a definitely a garbage dumpster fire, and probably the reason, I don't think they've ever done another Woodstock. They tried to do the 50th anniversary,
they were supposed to, and they did.
But this was literally, I don't, not a good scene, man. So Dark Side of the Stream, as we always do at the end of this, how many dumpster fires are we going to give this Woodstock?
How many porta potties on
fire?
How
many porta potties do you want to?
I'm going to give it a 5, just because I was so shocked. I was literally shocked.
It could have been a 4-hour documentary.
I remember it being at the time. I remember hearing that it was, crazy festival gone wrong, or whatever, but you did not know to what level until you actually see it.
As someone that watched it unfolding from his, parents' house in Springfield, Missouri, in high school, I can tell you I didn't know everything. And to gain the perspective from the people that played there and the guys that were there and lived it, and the girls, It's a trip for sure. So if you want to know why the 90s died in 1999 in Rome, New York, watch Woodstock 99 on HBO Max. Jay, what's the next documentary we're going to watch?
Oh, is it on me? Gosh, well, we did Heist already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it
did
was
Heist.
the last one you picked.
Should we do Val or should we not do Val?
What's Val?
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, let's do Val. Let's do Val.
Kilmer.
Let's do
the
Val.
Val Kilmer
Yeah, let's do Val.
documentary just
Let's do
came out
Val.
on
Let's do Val.
Amazon. It's
It'll give us a chance to. I mean, because it's sad. He's
Batman, dude.
He's
Batman.
Jim Morrison. I mean, there's
Jim Morrison.
There's
Yes,
a lot of things. He's
a
the
better
Iceman.
Wait, he's a better Jim Morrison than Jim Morrison. Actually, like
recently, my wife she laughs at me because one of my favorite movies is Commando. Arnold is arguably my favorite action star of all time, and he can do no wrong. And when you're watching these movies, it's like, did he really just throw a pipe into someone's body? Like, there's no way you could physically do that. But you know what? Arnold Schwarzenegger can. And I feel the same way about Val Kilmer. Is he really Jim Morrison? Absolutely, he is.
Yeah, like he's a better Jim Morrison than Jim Morrison, man.
And I love Val Kilmer. So that's what we're doing next. As always, you can download this as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app. You can follow along with us live and in color on Facebook.
Give
every
me
Thursday,
something to break.
9
Give me
a.m.
something to break.
Don't listen to Jay.
Give me
Be
something to
peaceful,
break,
man.
Give me something to break.
It's Dark Side of the Stream.
Give me something to break.
104.7.